Hi, I'm Justin Boyd.
I want to learn how to river dance. Really.
Hey, Marcy.
I wish I was a vampire so I can bot a few motherfuckers right now out of frustration.
I support this because I feel the same way. We are the Watchers in the Basement.
Welcome to the Watchers in the Basement. We are here today to discuss the new or latest Ryan. It's not really new because it came out in April, but the latest Ryan Coogler film stars Michael B. Jordan pulling double duty, playing a pair of twins. Before I get everyone's thoughts on the movie, of course, I want to hit you with some Sinners facts. The movie came out April 18th, 2025, with a runtime of 2 hours and 18 minutes, a budget of 100 million, the movie, or about 100 million. The box office, 365.9 million. I want to put a pin in that because I have a lot to talk about the budget and the business of the movie in a little bit. Again, it's directed by Ryan Coogler, written and produced also by Ryan Coogler. The music is by Ryan Coogler's longtime collaborator, Ludwig Göransson, who, of course, did Black Panther, most notably. The music from Black Panther also did the music for this film. And the cast includes Michael B. Jordan, Hailee Steinfeld, Miles Caton. This is also his film debut, by the way. Jack O'Connell, Wunmi Mosaku, Jayme Lawson, Omar Miller, and Delroy Lindo. Brittany, you want to go to you first? What are your overall thoughts on Sinners?
Overall thoughts on Sinners. Why did it take me so long to see this damn movie? I mean, like, I did want to go watch it in theaters when it came out, but for whatever reason, time just got away because life. So when it dropped on HBO, you bet I went to go watch it 4th of July weekend, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I mean, it has its slow moments, of course, but knowing that this movie is Ryan Coogler, Michael B. Jordan combo, you knew it was going to be fire. And honestly, I didn't know a whole lot about the storyline going into it. Mind you, it had already been out in theaters. Social media spoils everything, so I try to stay off social media. I knew there was an element of vampires. I just didn't know how and why necessarily. So I was building up a story in my head. It was not at all what I got from the movie. It was actually a lot better, I think. But I love this movie. I love the cast. I love the music. The music was just straight fire throughout this whole movie. And the young man that made his debut in this movie has such an amazing voice. Blown away by him. I really did enjoy this movie. It's something I feel like I could watch again and just kind of just fall in love with it all over again. But yeah, I'm just kind of mad at myself that I took forever to watch this movie.
Marcy, what about you? What are your thoughts on it? When did you see it, and how many times have you seen it?
I've seen it twice. I did have to watch it again to fall in love with it, only because the first time, and I told you all in a group chat, vampire movies are not my thing. I like other types of horror movies. So the first time I was just kind of like, okay, but I still wanted to support because a lot of people were hating about how like it hadn't made as much money as they thought it would make or whatever, but it was mostly like industry magazines that were hating and like everybody loved it. So I watched it again today and didn't fast forward through any of the vampire parts. And yeah, it was great. Loved the music the first and second times I watched it, but then the second time obviously got to more of like the actual story, because the first time I was just kind of like, okay, like, yeah, you get bitten by vampires and now you turn into a vampire. Like, I've seen this before. Vampire movies aren't my thing because I can't imagine having to live forever. That sounds so tedious. So that's why that's not my favorite genre. But overall, it was a great movie, great acting, beautifully made. And again, you can't go wrong with the music.
Yeah, very well said. Frank, I know you have a lot of thoughts. Give us your from the top, your 20,000 feet in the air thoughts on this movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's my favorite movie of 2025. Like, I love everything about it. I think Michael B is a guy that he's a superstar. Like but he's more of he's a movie star. He did some acting in this motherfucker. Like, he acted and you see the thespian qualities of his growth as an actor in this role. It's one thing to play two people in the movie. It's another thing to play twins with opposite ends of like personality traits. How one's button up and one's, you know, cut loose, have a good time. One's all about business, and the other one's about, you know, just living by the moment. Like to go through the variances of acting between both of those characters, brothers, twins. That's a hard thing to do. I mean, I can imagine him acting and like, you know, Ryan Coogler saying cut, and then him going to the next brother and have to readjust and like give out a whole different level of acting bravado for this character. That has to be entirely difficult to do. So, and for all the things that I've read from, you know, Hailee Steinfeld to, Jack, and all the castmates were saying how business minded, how focused he was, and he wasn't fucking around between takes. You know, there were times he'll walk out on the set as Stack for a day, or, you know, he'll walk out and smoke for a day or whatever, and he did not leave that mindset. And it's to me, I'm just proud to see him grow. Like I saw, you know, I watched Fruitvale Station. I've seen every Michael B. Jordan movie, and he's getting better. You know, and for people who say, oh, he's 40 or he's whatever, he is what he is. No, he is proof that you can still master your trade and incrementally get better with each movie, with each project. Yeah. This is Michael B. The rest of the cast I thought was perfect. Like the story's unique. Like for a director like Ryan, who just doesn't miss. Like he's a guy that really, when you give him a role, when you give him a project, he's gonna knock out the park. He did Fruitvale Station with pennies on the dollar. And, you know, he went from that to like Black Panther with a robust budget. So he's shown you that, you know, he can do it with you know, a shit or pot to piss in, and he can do it with a grandiose budget. And when those two guys are together, man, magic always seems to happen. The cast is, I mean, from Hailee to, I mean, everybody did great. I mean, I love the racial undertones, overtones of the story. I love the little nuggets of like, you know, just trying to make it, especially in that time, and how they infuse that with sci-fi and vampirism. It's, you know, it's just a great movie, man. I can't speak. I gave so many superlatives over the last few months. I think I watched it like 6 times now, and I seem to catch things every single time I watch it. And I hope that they expound on this and create prequels and sequels and TV shows, and like the way that story is set up, you can squeeze that juice out of that lemon and get so much more out of that if Ryan wants to go that direction.
Yeah, unfortunately, from all I've read, he doesn't. He was pretty like adamant at the fact that like he made the movie. He said it's a full meal. It's not meant to be like a franchise starter. Although you never know, things could change down the road. Frank, I want to speak on that part about the twin, Michael B. Jordan playing twins. It's so well done that honestly, I forget about it almost immediately. You know what I mean? Like I forgot that. Oh yeah, he's just one person. You know, like it's not like there's not 2 of him. That, you know, like it's very well done. And I mean, honestly, until you brought that up, even though I have my notes several times about him playing twins, I didn't like when you're watching the movie. It doesn't seem like it's the same person. So very well done. Before I get to my thoughts, I want to respond to Yesenia had a question directed at me about why it took me so long to watch this. So go back to April. There were literally a handful of movies that I wanted to see in the theaters in April. There was The Amateur, there was Drop, there was this movie, Sinners, there was Warzone or Warfare. I think it's called Warfare. And there was something else. The movie, Frank, you're always trying to get me to watch it. The
Accountant 2?
The Accountant 2. So those 5 movies. So I saw The Amateur with a very early screening at the end of March. So I knocked that one out. I was like, okay, April's going to be awesome. All these movies. I hurt my back or had a back problem in April. Didn't end up going to the movies. Of the 4 remaining movies, I've seen none of them until I watched this movie last weekend. So there's just something about me. Like if I don't see it in the theaters, even when I have it at my fingertips at home, I just like, I don't have the same draw to watch it. There's just something about that. When I miss that theatrical window, it's hard for me to like, okay, I'm going to sit down on my couch and watch it for 2 hours, 2.5 hours or whatever.
Boo, what a hater.
But but when I did watch this movie, I was like, okay, I get why people like this movie so much. I get why it did so well. And again, I'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. But to me, this is a movie that I did know quite a bit about, and I wish I knew nothing about it before I saw it. And I like in a perfect world, or like when you're like your little kid, before you like watch trailers, before trailers were on the internet or whatever, you go to the movies, and the first time you'd see a trailer would be at the movies, and you'd only know that minute and a half, whatever about this movie before you saw it in theaters. And this movie, to me, like the way it plays out, the way it opens, the part about these two brothers leaving like the gangster lifestyle in Chicago, coming back down south to open this like music club and to deal with the Klan, that could have been a great movie unto itself. Like, but then you add the supernatural element, have vampires and stuff, and it's a fun movie. But I do wonder, like, maybe had they gone the route with that, just like grounded, realistic movie, that it might have been a better movie. I don't know, but this is definitely one of my favorite vampire movies, up there with the Lost Boys back in the '80s. One of my favorites.
Yes.
Vampire wise. Brittany, what do you think about that? As far as vampire movies, where do you kind of rank this one?
I know. I love the comparison to the Lost Boys. That's one of my more favorite vampire films. Next to Salem's Lot, the original one. Yeah, Barlow. Scary as crap vampire I have ever seen in my entire life. I have not seen the remake because I just don't want to. But this movie, I think it's just really cool because, like I said, in my mind, I was kind of building the story that ended up not being what I watched at all, right? I thought, for some strange reason, that these twins were already vampires, and they're using this dance hall, music hall, whatever, as a facade to just kill people, to sustain themselves, and or to create more vampires and take over the Deep South and what have you, because of the era that they're in. They're in the 1930s, right? They left the gangster life, which, by the way, I think I can speak for all of us, would be an epic prequel. Need to see the twins when they were with Capone and how they stole from the Italians and how they stole from the Irish. Like, I need to see that unfold. Like, how crazy would that be, right? I think it would make an awesome prequel. Anyway, beside the point. But in my mind, like I said, I thought they were already vampires. I thought they were daywalkers, like in Blade. And they're recruiting musicians to come play. Like the scene where they meet, oh gosh, I'm spacing out on his name. The harmonica player. When they meet him.
Delta Slim.
Yeah.
Thank you. Delta Slim. When they meet him and one of the twins hands him a cold Irish beer. I thought there was something in that beer that was gonna put him under like a spell of some kind and just lure him in, and then everyone else is gonna follow suit. That's what I was thinking in my mind. I'm not a screenplay writer or anything like that. I was just making this up, right? And I thought that would have been cool. But the way everything else played out was so much better than I had ever anticipated. But I think Hunter here, by the way, shout out to those who are in today's live chat here on YouTube. We appreciate you taking time out of your day to join us and to talk all things Sinners. Shout out to Hunter. Can't pronounce your last name, so I'm not going to. So I apologize for that. King B. Johnson and Yesenia, thank y'all for being here. Hunter said in the beginning, Sinners was nothing more than a masterclass of cinema. Couldn't agree more. And also says, I truly even think that this movie might have a shot at getting in for Best Picture. I mean, for it being an original horror movie is so well done, especially in this day and age, because I feel like people are running out of original ideas. They're just doing remakes. They're adapting from literature and maybe putting a little spin on it or something like that, but they're not creating new content. And for Ryan Coogler to just drop this on us and say, you know what, I'm gonna take a whack at a horror film. Nailed it.
No doubt.
No other words.
Marcy, do you have any vampire spinoff ideas that you want to share with everybody?
Vampire spinoff ideas. I put this in the private chat, so we know how much Frank loves Spencer Dutton. Universes colliding, Spencer, a prequel where the twins have fought alongside Spencer Dutton in World War I.
Could you imagine?
Could you like don't give Taylor Sheridan that idea because he'll fuck it up. Give it to Ryan Coogler, somebody else, because Taylor will fuck it up, and it will take 5 years for him to give us like a, a 4-episode season.
Oh no!
But like everybody has said, I think this is one of my favorite vampire movies because again, everything feels like a rehash. That's why I'm so over like vampire movies, but this felt new. This felt fresh. I'll probably say it is my favorite vampire movie. Mm-hmm. And one of my favorite movies that I've seen in a while, because again, even things that aren't horror, like everything is just a rehash of something previous. So really enjoyed it.
Now, Frank, I know you love the movie overall, but let's talk about the vampire aspect of it. What are you a vampire fan? And also like, how did you like how that played out in this film?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm old school, man. I go back to Anne Rice. Like I love vampire flicks. Like that's my shit. Like that's, but like not that teeny bopper shit. Like not like Twilight or like any of that Vampire Diaries. Like real gangster, True Blood, Interview with the Vampire, Sinners. I like that kind of shit. So yeah, I mean, I go back and I've seen every version and iteration of a vampire, from its origins to like how they can, mesmerize people or glamour people to, now slobber now apparently. Like it's there's so many iterations, and like this iteration is so unique because I've never seen this iteration before. Like and Ryan does a great job because vampires, even though they're an ancient thing, they since the beginning of time for the most part, in this little known Mississippi town, they're called something else because the term vampires, it's not really a thing. They'll focus on Jim Crow and like racism and lynchings. Like they're not like anything of the supernatural. They're not even worried about because that's not a thing that's realistic in their world because they're just trying to survive. So this iteration and this creativity of like how they infuse this time in Mississippi, post depression and Jim Crow and civil rights and all that with the supernatural, I thought was just brilliant, and it made sense. It didn't seem clunky, it flowed so well.
No, it definitely did. And like I said, like if I hadn't known that it was a vampire movie, I would have been really surprised because like the first 30 or 40 minutes, you're like, oh, this is a really interesting movie. Like this could be an interesting TV series. And then all of a sudden it's like, wow, hard left turn, but like in the best way. Cause I'm not really a horror fan. I've never really have been. And, but this is the kind of horror film that I can enjoy. Like it wasn't like a silly, like, what do they call where they just like kill you? What are the term where it's like you have like Jason and
like a slasher film,
like
slasher.
A slasher.
Yeah, it's not like a slasher film. There's a lot of story behind it. And
there was like a couple of jump scares, I think, in this movie, just like 2 that I can name exactly. One that dealt with a vampire, and then the other was that damn snake in the back of the truck. That scared the crap out of me.
Yeah. I think this is probably elevated horror. I know I've heard that term. That's probably what I would call this, or like maybe prestige horror, if that's a new one. But speaking of vampires, I learned this just recently. I wonder if y'all heard about this. So obviously here the Watchers, we're all about that superhero life, and we love Marvel as much as anybody does, more than most people nowadays do. And there was a Marvel movie about a half vampire that was in the works for a while called Blade. Mahershala Ali's movie was in the works, and it was also a period piece. Well, the movie hit a roadblock, and apparently it's still in development. But they made costumes for that movie and that movie isn't happening right now. So Marvel sold those costumes to Sinners. So a lot of the background characters are wearing costumes that were made for the Blade film that we'll maybe see, in a few years, but not the one that we thought was going to come out now, or it's actually supposed to come out last November. Frank, what do you think about that? Did you know that?
Yeah, I remember reading that.
Okay.
It was maybe a month ago, very recently. Yeah. I came across that. I'm like, if you're gonna make the movie, why not just keep the costumes? I mean, it's Disney. They got long bread. They can make more costumes. Yeah. They can hire more costume designers. But I thought that was really interesting too. And And while that was even put out there, I don't know that was put out there as to like low key say, hey, we're not giving on Blade, but just so you know, we are giving the Blade costume to Sinner, but just so you know, Blade is still alive. Like it might have been like a low key like flex to say we're still in development, because why even put that out there? Like, why is that even important to Marvel?
Well, I think part of it was because the Blade movie that they were working on was a period piece. So Blade was going to happen like in the 1920s or 30s. And apparently the new version they're working on now, I think it's in current day. So like the clothing wasn't going to work anyway. And also Ryan Coogler is one of their guys. So it's like they were able to help him out. I mean, obviously Warner Brothers and Sinners paid for the costumes, but it was kind of like a, hookup kind of deal. Like we got your back. And so it worked out. I thought it was cool. I really haven't heard that much about movies where other movies kind of get, hey, we have something you might need. We're not going to use it. So if you want to buy it, here it is. So anyway, I thought that was a cool thing.
I like how they still kind of kept it with the MCU family, to a degree,
Yeah.
right? Ryan Coogler, Michael B. Jordan, Hailee Steinfeld, because let's not forget everyone, she was in Hawkeye. So she's part of that family. Anyway.
Yeah. So I want to talk about the business of this movie real quick here, because this is really interesting. So this movie, there was a bidding war for this movie with all the studios, and Warner Brothers won the rights to distribute the movie. In order to win the rights, they agreed to give Ryan Coogler a gross of the ticket sales, which is pretty unique. And they also agreed to give him ownership of the movie after 25 years. So in 2050, he'll fully own this movie that he wrote, directed, and produced, and he'll be able to distribute it however he sees fit, which I think is, there's not too many directors that have that deal. I know Quentin Tarantino has a similar kind of deal with some of his movies, but I thought that was a really cool aspect of it. We'll talk about the box office here in a second. Marcy, what do you think about that? About how he literally made the movie in every aspect, and it'll be his to own and have.
In 25 years.
25 years, yeah.
I'll be 65 at that point. So, I'll go if he redistributes it, and how they're having everything come back out in theaters. If does that, I'll go support it in my old age with my little walker or something.
Exactly. So I mentioned before, the movie made $365.9 million, which is, and Brittany kind of mentioned this, and I think Marcy kind of said the same thing. This is massive for an original film, because if you look at the box office year in, year out, it's all IP, intellectual property that we know of, right? In fact, to show like how unique Sinners is, like it's the number 5 highest grossing domestic movie in the US this year. And it's like the only movies above it are the Minecraft movie, Lilo and Stitch, Superman, and Jurassic World Rebirth. And we're talking about these like blockbuster, you have a very popular video game, you have the first superhero ever, you have dinosaurs, which everyone loves, you've got Lilo and Stitch, an established Disney property. So the fact that it's like really close to those movies here in the United States is a huge accomplishment. Also, you notice the movies I mentioned, think about the ones I didn't mention. There are 3 Marvel movies that came out this year, and Sinners made more money in the United States than all 3 of those movies so far. Now, Fantastic Four might pass it. It's still early in its run. It's only been out for like 2.5 weeks, but it made more money than Captain America, made more money than Thunderbolts, made more money than like Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. Like, pretty good for an original movie to do that well. And then, on the global scale, it's the 12th highest grossing movie of the year. And, obviously there's still some big movies coming out this year, but still at this point in August, to put up those numbers for an original horror film is pretty unheard of. The numbers for this movie are better than Get Out was in 2017, better than what Quiet Place. And those are 2 also, original horror, film franchises that were born, because horror, like everything else, you have, how many Saw movies are there? There's like 20 of them, right? Or 12 of them or something. To create an original thing nowadays and like to get it in the theaters and people like it is pretty unheard of. Frank, your thoughts on all the business talk about the movie?
Yeah, I think we will be lazy if we said the stars just aligned. I think there's a lot of moving parts to why this movie is successful. I think more importantly, one is Ryan Coogler. Like his reputation is like, he's known not just in like black circles, but in Hollywood circles, he is that motherfucker. Like, he is cold. Like, he does not miss. You know, so like you have and that's a big reason why he got the deal that he got, because of what he's done in such a. And he's like my age. He's like 40. He's not old at all. He has a long career ahead of him. If you
I think he's 38 actually.
Yeah, he's younger than me. Yeah, I think Michael B's older than him. Like that's
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like he's a baby when it comes to like directing. Like he was 27 when he put out Fruitvale Station. Like it's like he's a phenom right now in the Hollywood circle. So I think that played a part too of like production companies and movie companies vying for his services, because they know what he can do when with anything, or a big budget, little budget, that's attractive to a lot of movie companies. On top of that, like you have Michael B. Jordan in it, and like he's a star. Like he is a recognizable star globally now. Like guys and women fawn over him. Guys want to be him. Like, so you have that combined with Ryan Coogler's creativity. That's gonna generate buzz. And then two, like it's an original movie. Like I think originality is starting to like take focus now in Hollywood. Like I think Brittany said, there's just so many. Like you too, Justin. There's so many remakes. There's so many hashes of like movies from the past, and like it's becoming redundant. And I think three, I think with this whole superhero movement now, or lack thereof, or you know, there's a transition right now with superhero movies right now. I don't want to say people are tired of it, because just a year ago, Deadpool made $1 billion. You know, just right. You know, last summer. I just think people are not really familiar with these new actors who are now taking on these roles. They're now, and we're going to a new phase right now. It's a lot of uncertainty with like Marvel as far as like what their plans are going to be, as far as like if it's going to, you know, hit the ground running or not. DC is now turning a new leaf as well. And those movies aren't really doing well overseas, which is surprising because normally those movies do well overseas. Yeah. So I think combined with that, with Ryan, with Michael B, and it being an original screenplay, that alone is going to just cause a lot of interest.
Yeah, I mean, people are always looking for something new. Like people always say, I want to see something new, I want to see something different. But in reality, you don't. Like most people don't. They say that, but then they go see, you know, Fast and Furious 11, which, hey, I'll be the first one in line. I can't wait. Like I risked getting COVID to see F9, the Fast Saga. I was there. I didn't care. Couldn't care less. Like bring it on. But no, it is refreshing to see something like brand new. Like you think about the 80s, a lot of the stuff that we see now is kind of birthed in the 80s. And like I can imagine being like my age, like in the 80s, like, you know, every weekend you go to the movies, you're seeing Ghostbusters, like the first Ghostbusters. How crazy is that? And then like, you know, Indiana Jones and Star Wars, all this stuff that like now is just like everywhere, and there's 25 movies for all this stuff. This is one of those movies where there might not be any sequels because of, you know, the director wanted to kind of keep it as a pure, you know, one-off story. But it is kind of a special thing because it is a, you know, it is a one-off, or it is a thing that could be something huge, but it's something we haven't seen yet. So very, very, very unique film in many ways. Brittany, I want you to start off. Let's talk about the cast now. We talked about Michael B. Jordan a little bit. Talked about obviously Ryan Coogler, the director. Talk about some other members of the cast that you thought were highlights in this film.
Man, Hailee Steinfeld completely shocked the mess out of me with just her writing, right? I just kind of have to just throw this in here. I've been binging Yellowstone, very late to the game about Yellowstone, and the difference in the female characters in Yellowstone in comparison to Hailee Steinfeld's character in this movie, she holds her own. Okay, she is actually like a strong biracial woman, and of course you look at her and you're like, well, she can't be biracial. It's like, well, in the movie, yes, she is, right? She explains it, and how she speaks. Is it to Smoke? Yeah, it's Smoke. How she speaks to Smoke, and I'm not going to deliver the line because I'm just not. But like, it's very popular. It was the thing that I saw on social media, and I'm just like, what did she say? She needs to wash her mouth out with a bar of soap, young lady. And that's because I've seen her in other movies, like just as a young woman growing up, in Ender's Game. I saw her, of course, in Pitch Perfect. I love her in Pitch Perfect because she can sing. I'm sure there's other projects that I can't think of,
The
but
Spider-Verse movies. We've heard her in the Spider-Verse movies. Yeah,
y'all have. I
she
have
has
not.
Yeah, she plays a very big part in those things. Yeah, go ahead.
Right. And then of course she was in Hawkeye, right?
Yeah.
And she's wonderful. She's fun to watch, but to see her in this very like mature, very like almost serious type role, and then what ends up happening to her in the movie, I mean, she just blew me away from start to finish, right? And I couldn't get enough of it. Her writing was just so smart and so well done that I need Ryan Coogler to take over all these Taylor Sheridan projects and like write strong women, because Jesus H Christ, like Taylor Sheridan cannot. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Anyway, but she did absolutely wonderful. And then Jack, who plays the
Remick.
wandering vampire.
Yeah. The Irish vampire.
The Irish vampire. Oh man, blown away by him as well. I read a little bit of trivia about him that I think he accepted the role without having actually read the script. Like he just knew that he was going to be able to sing like Irish folk songs and what have you, and that's just kind of like what sold him, because I think he's half Irish, if not part. But anyway, I thought that was cool. I love his scenes. Just a different. It was just different, and I think I'm one of those that wants to see something new, something fresh, something different and original, and definitely got it with this movie. But I think Hailee and Jack really could just kind of like took it for me, along with obviously Michael B. Jordan, and then it's seeing Wunmi from I was going to call it the TVA from the Loki series. I kept looking at her and I'm like, she looks familiar. And then she and Michael B. Jordan started, doing the nasty in the movie. And I was just like, yep, that's her. she definitely looked familiar at that point. I don't know why. But anyway.
That's what jogged your memory.
What jogged my memory. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus. But no, I mean,
Tom
honestly,
Hiddleston never did that to her. Not one time.
Not one time. Not one time. He could probably get it though. Just saying. That being said, really, I was not disappointed at all with any of these actors and their character portrayals. Even, I mean, hell, Delroy. Never seen this young man before. Never knew his existence until Frank shared with me afterwards. He was a backup singer for her, and I'm like, bruh, that's not a voice that matches the face or this era. Like that is an old time voice that you just don't get anymore. And what a blessing that we all have been treated to this young man. He's going to go far. He has to.
I think you said Delroy Lindo, but he's the older gentleman in the movie.
My bad.
Yeah.
My bad. You know what I was trying to say though.
Yeah, you're talking about Miles.
Miles,
Caton.
yeah, my bad.
Yeah. He's only like 20 years old, I think, too.
Yeah, he's a baby. He's a freaking baby.
Film. Yeah, exactly. Marcy, I want to get your thoughts on the cast. Were you familiar with Jack O'Connell? I was not. And now I hear his name mentioned for like all these movies coming up. And obviously for me, this was a star-making movie for, in my perspective, but were you familiar with him, and what are your thoughts on some of the other cast members?
Jack O'Connell was Remick, right?
He was, yeah.
Yes. So I don't think I was familiar, but he looks like a lot of the other white actors that are kind of like famous right now. So I had to like look it up to see who he was. He's just, there's a lot of them that look similar nowadays.
Just your basic white guy.
No, but I think he was great. He did a great job. Delroy Lindo, like Hunter said, amazing. I think I've loved him in everything that I've seen him in, and he was great in this too. Guy that played Cornbread was in like movies back in the day when we were kids. And now I'm like, oh wow, yeah. Like he got old. And then I'm like, oh, I got old also. It's not just him. What am I thinking? He was also in a show called The Unicorn with Walton Goggins, and he was great in that. But that's like a total sidebar. But no, the cast was great. Wunmi Mosaku, loved her in We Own the City. She was amazing in that, so it was great to see her here. Hailee again. She was great in True Grit, and she was like a young lady there. So yeah, like Brittany said, it was just kind of like, oh, okay. You're also grown now, and it's fine. But I think they all worked very, very well together as well too. You could see like the chemistry that they all had. So I think it was very, very wonderfully cast.
Yeah. Frank, your thoughts on the cast? Some of the highlights outside of Michael B. Jordan, because we expected him to be awesome, but like just some people that maybe you didn't expect, or some people you hadn't seen before.
Yeah, what Marcy said, I thought I'd seen him before, and other things. He looks a lot like old buddy from the Hitman movies, but with hair. I thought I was him at first. I was like, oh, that's old buddy,
Okay.
but that's not him. Then I thought he was another guy from Rogue. It was a movie called Rogue something. That he looked just like that guy too. But I was like, oh, that's not him. So yeah, like there was no weaknesses in the cast. Like when you watch the movie, nobody has to carry anybody. Like everybody's holding their own, and all the actors made those roles their own. And that's what brings a great movie together, is that you can put together a cast of like actors who are either up and coming or just not known, and they just have a magnetic energy that just permeates throughout the movie. And you know, Michael B got to have sex with on screen with Hailee and old girl from Loki. He winning, winning. But no, like I thought, you know, Lindo. I've been a fan of him since I was a kid, and like to see him back on the big screen, man, it brought some nostalgia. Like he played the dad to Leah in one of Leah's last movies with Jet Li. Like he was in that movie. Like he's been around so long. Like he's such a veteran, man. But I mean, Ryan Coogler, man, he did his homework. I don't know what his recruiting process is, and when it comes to like casting people, but he needs to stick to it, because he nailed at the park with everybody in this movie.
Yeah, no doubt. Oh, I wanted to mention Jayme Lawson too. She plays Pearline in the movie. When she came on the screen, I was like, I know I've seen her before, and like finally at the end of the movie, I was like, oh, she's in the Batman. She's the mayor who gets elected in the Batman at the very end. Because I saw her and I was like, she's in something. She's in a Star Wars thing, or she's in a Marvel thing, and I was like, it's not Marvel. And then at the very end, I was like, oh, she's in the Batman. I'd never seen her besides that movie, so I was like, oh, it's cool that she got another big Warner Brothers movie to.
She was in Woman King too. She played one of the concubines in that movie.
Okay. Yeah. Very, very, very good, very strong cast as expected. Let's talk about the music now, because music's obviously a huge part of this movie. I mean, such a big part of the movie where, you know, Sammy's, you know, he's this blues guitar player, this aspiring musician, and his music basically summons the spirits of, you know, the past and the future. That's why Remick would trade it all just to have Sammy. Brittany, what'd you think about how music played a factor in the storyline of the movie, and also just the music that we heard in the movie? What'd you think about it?
No, I think it was extremely well done. Now, I heard people disputing as to whether or not this was deemed a musical, and I'm going to just say it's not.
It's definitely not.
There's absolutely no way that this is a musical. The scene where you kind of see like the blend of the ancestors to the present to like future, you know, because music influences all, right? It comes from one place, or, you know, in this case it's like many cultures, and then how it's just adapted, you know, from one genre to another, but it's something that everyone can understand and relate to and what have you, and therefore enjoy it, right? So that's always important, and like music's obviously like a very big part of, you know, my life and who I am. But for Remick, I can never say it. Remick, to be drawn to the music and having just, oh, you know, we came from down the street. It's like, well, where's down the street? North Carolina. That line killed me when I first heard it. But for him, just, it speaks to him on a different level, right? And like for vampires who are immortal, you know, they they long for something, and I guess that was like the thing that he longed for and wanted Sammy as a result of it. Hearing the Irish folk song, I don't know the title of it. It's very popular. It's very well known. I remember hearing it, of course, in the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes during that boxing scene. I believe it's that same song. If not, it sounds an awful lot like it, but it's catchy. It's fun. All the other vampires who had turned were singing along with him. I think he's the only one doing the Irish dancing, or river dancing, what most people come to know that to be. And it was just really, really cool. But again, Miles, right? Miles' voice is unlike anything I've ever heard in this modern time, right? And it's such an old time voice for such a young man, and it's truly a gift. And I can see him going somewhere with this. And man, I don't know what else to say. The soundtrack was great, and Yesenia agrees. She's like, I love the soundtrack. Oh, thank you. She gave the title "The Rocky Road to Dublin," which is incredible, just absolutely incredible.
Yeah, Marcy, I heard the same stuff too. That this was kind of like a musical, and no shade against musicals, but to me, this is not a musical. It's a movie that has a lot of music in it, and the music is very important, but it's not a musical. What'd you think about the music overall, and just were there any like favorite moments that you enjoyed as far as the music?
I like Brittany. I loved the music. I love how they talked about just kind of how it can just summon the past, and then it's also a thread to the future, because that is what music is, right? Like every genre, it like takes blends of like different things from all different places, and it creates something new, especially all American music, right? Like jazz, blues, rock and roll, everything that we think of as American music, it has been created from everywhere, from like immigrants who came here and enslaved folk who are here and native, and it takes everything and you combine it and you make something awesome, and then that is used to make more awesome music in the future. So I loved how they talked about that and they showed it in that dance scene. But I also liked this is kind of like part of like the music, or just kind of like the sound effects, but using the old timey like movie for some of like the scenes, right? Like it would, like, especially when the vampires are attacking, it felt very like, oh, I'm watching like an old 80s vampire movie, or like an old 60s horror movie, or like Halloween, where it just used like some of like the old sound effects for that. I loved how they did it, because it felt also like a callback to like earlier horror flicks.
Yeah, that's a good point. Good observation. Hey Frank, what'd you think about the music in the movie? Just the songs, and just like kind of the vibe that the music kind of set for the film.
So I have a process on cardio day when I do my elliptical and my stairs. I start off with This Little Light of Mine by Miles.
Okay.
I finish off with Pick Poor Robin Clean as I'm doing the battle ropes.
Yeah.
I can work out to that soundtrack. I work out to that soundtrack every Monday, Thursday, and Sunday. Like that's my shit on my cardio days. It's a beautiful soundtrack, man. I'm not really into Irish music, but like I've watched the movie so many times, like that song just sticks in my head now. Like Pick Poor Robin Clean, literally sticks in my head every time I hear it. So it's beautiful soundtrack, man. Like I would love to see Miles perform live. He needs to do like a Sinners tour, like a selected cities. Like I would go to that. Like he's legit. Like that dude's legit. Like I can imagine just seeing the choreography of like the past, future, and present, and him just summoning all that through his music. Like he's going places. If he wants to focus on a solo career, he got it. If he wants to focus on acting, he got it. But no, the soundtrack was legit. I loved it.
Yeah, no, it was obviously a huge part of the film, and really, really added to kind of like what also made the movie special, which we were talking about before. Let's talk about special. Let's talk about some of the best moments of the movie. Brittany, what are some of your favorite scenes that you want to mention?
Ooh, favorite scenes. I really actually we haven't really talked about any of these characters too that we see in town when the twins are prepping for the grand opening, right? They got to go get food. They got to go get obviously a sign made and things like that, and their interactions with the locals, right? And how they mean business in anything and everything that they do, right? And Frank had spoken about the different personalities between the twins. One's all business, the other's like just for the moment and having a good time, that kind of thing. And for me personally, I kind of had a hard time differentiating between the two because at the same time, while they may have different mindsets, I felt like they kind of acted the same. So for me, it was a little hard to differentiate between the two, if not for the hats that they were wearing. Which thankfully was a lifesaver. That being said, how they interacted with other people was really interesting to see, from the town locals to the to the clan member who was, gonna probably pull a gun on them, right? When selling the property, right? And just every interaction that they had, it was just so smart. Everything about them was just so smart, and how just how they accomplished everything. I don't know. It was I think that's what I was really taken away with. Like, just the writing and their dialogue was very captivating, and how they got Marcy talked about what's his name from back in the day, the big boy who they got out of the field, and how the twin was talking to his wife about, he's about to go get more money or something. She's like, all right, go, be gone. She's pregnant. She's like, hey, we need that money. Like I said, everything was just so smart. I don't know what more to say. I think the jump scares also were, because I was anticipating when something was actually going to get scary and get real for me. The first jump scare with that snake in the back of the truck was like, nope, can't do this. But the real reveal of Remick inside the house, after he had entered, with his sad story of, the Indians were coming after him and trying to kill him or whatever. And if you don't know about vampires, is that you have to allow them to come cross the threshold. You have to invite them into your establishment or your home or whatever. And after that had happened, of course he's going to go make his kill, and it's the husband. And it was the red eyes in the dark room, and then the jump. I was like, no, it was like you knew it was coming, but it was still scary. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That's one thing with vampires. There's all these rules that they do follow rules, even though they're creatures of the night and can kill you and turn you or whatever. They do live by a code of a certain way. Marcy, anything that Brittany didn't mention that you want to talk about as far as like a favorite scene or a favorite moment?
I think one of my favorite moments was when Remick and Sammy were, I guess, in the water, like in the little pond or lake, and Sammy starts praying, and then Remick starts praying, and then he's like, yes, like these are the prayers that they brought to like both of our different cultures, but like to like kind of take away like what we were already doing. Like, this was imposed upon us, and now you're using it to try to like save you from me, but like we can like create something better. I liked that imagery. And I also liked when Slim told Sammy, again, he was like, they kind of forced religion upon us, and like we were doing our own thing. So I like that they kind of touched upon that, because I think that's something that is also important to keep in mind and remember. So I thought that was really great. I liked that message and aspect of it. Like Yesenia said, also like the reveal of the church. I like how like the old like country church was used, because it reminded me of the Magnificent Seven, where there's like, it opens with like a scene in a church. There's also other movies where you're like, something bad is happening, and they like end up in like this old timey old country church. So reminiscent of older movies as well.
Yeah. That's cool. Frank, favorite just some favorite scenes you want to talk about.
But Brittany referenced it earlier when they're trying to get in and Jack starts singing, Remick starts singing, and like I think it was Stack that stopped. No, Smoke stopped him. He's like, I was just about to get to the best part, and he's like, no, I believe you. Like it's just the way he said it was just, it was so fucking country, like so like. That's what somebody would say in 1931. Like, oh no, I believe you. Like, it just sounded so like so nonchalant, and like smart assy. That's one of my favorite scenes, and yeah, there's so many. I mean, Hailee had a couple lines, man. I mean, I don't want to say it online, but like just the train station, and then fuck, I say one of the lines. She's dancing with Stack, and she's like, you can ride trains, but you can't ride this pussy for one night. I'm like, hold on, what? It Pitch Perfect. It has a potty mouth. Like who would have thought? Like I would just flabbergasted.
One chicken, please.
Yeah, right.
Josh Allen is one lucky man.
Oh, dude, and I saw open tonight. Like it was a very diverse crowd in my theater, but like all the brothers, we were just flabbergasted. and then two rows behind me, I think it was a black guy talking to this girl. He's like, "Ain't the girl from Pitch Perfect?" He's like he couldn't believe what she said. Like, it was just so random, out of pocket for her, I guess. Yeah. But I mean, those are my two favorite scenes.
To go from Pitch Perfect in her first appearance in Pitch Perfect, she's like, my name is Emily. My name is Emily Junk, and it's like, what? She goes, yeah. She goes, well, that's my mom's name. She goes, my dad's last name is Hard On. So it's like, to go from that kind of like humor of an inappropriate joke, an innuendo of some kind, and then to go flat out and say, oh, you can't rob this pussy, or like, you put your tongue in my cooch, and it just, what? Like, what do they learn over there at Barden? Like, good golly.
Oh man,
and that's why I watched the movie 6 times.
Stuck my tongue in your cooch and fucked me so hard. I thought you changed your mind. Like it was just like what? Just that Southern Belle tone. I didn't know she had it. Like,
but also, was she wrong? She wasn't wrong. Why are you giving me mixed signals, man?
No, you're right. No, she was in the right. Mary, hey, look. If the twins are number one, Mary's right there. Like I fucked with Mary in that movie, man. She was tough. She was tough in that movie.
She was tough.
Yeah, no, she had some of the best lines, and my favorite. I think just kind of my favorite moment of the movie is when. Obviously, she gets turned by Remick, and then she turns Stack, right? And then, obviously, Smoke, he doesn't want to kill his brother, and then we learn later on that he doesn't kill his brother. Like, he has the chance to kill him, and, you're watching the movie, you're seeing all, the vampires are attacking the people who are still alive, and then, you see he has a chance to do it, and they don't show it, and, like, I just kind of, like, fell for, okay, well, he had to kill his brother, and then later on, you see that he didn't kill his brother. And basically we see him return in 1992, right, Frank?
Yeah, 92. Yep.
You want to run us through the ending of this movie? I guess was that a mid credit or is that just the very end of it?
That was a mid credit. The post credit is Miles. Miles, playing the guitar in the church.
Right. Okay.
So in the mid credit, like it fast forwards 1992. So Miles' character, Preacher Boy, he's probably in his 80s now. Like he's made all this money. He's this world-renowned jazz singer. He's closing out shows. He's closing out different clubs and bars. And one night he's about to pack up. He's having the drink at the bar, and he feels like a coldness walking into the room. Like and when he turns around, Stack and Mary are sitting at the bar with him. Stack with his Coogee sweater on, like. The essence of the 90s was all in that man's sweater. Like it was, I love the detail of like that time of like what he had on. And he's shocked because I'm guessing he assumed that everybody died that fateful morning when the sun came up. And he's like he saw a ghost, like seeing his cousin and his cousin's girlfriend, and Stack pretty much tells him like how he got away and what Smoke promised him to stay away from Preacher Boy, for most of his life, because he didn't want him to intervene. And they have a moment, like they kind of talk and like, hey man, like I think Stack asked him, no, Preacher Boy asked Stack, was that the greatest night of your life? That was the greatest day of your life. And he's like, yeah, that was the last time. And then Stack says, yeah, that was the last time my brother and I saw the sun go down. And for a moment we was free. It's so beautiful. It's so telling, and it shows the bond of the brothers, Stack and Smoke, because Smoke loved his brother. Like you find in the movie, like he protected his brother all throughout his life, even in childhood with their abusive father, and even when everything is going to shit and like he's about to die, he's pleading to his brother, look, man, I can't do this. I made a vow to protect you in literally life and death, and you might be dead, but you're still my brother. And to see him alive, that it just showed the bond that not only that Smoke had for Stack, but Stack honoring Smoke's promise, made that promise that he gave to Smoke about leaving Preacher Boy alone. So very beautiful scene, man. I mean, if it ends that way, look, I'm not a big fan of sequels because a lot of times sequels aren't as good as the first one. So I get Ryan Coogler's method and his idea of like, I want it to be a standalone. I want it to stand the test of time. I don't want to mess with this homage of what I've created here with anything that can come short of a sequel. I don't think he'll do bad because he's Ryan Coogler, but I get why he's apprehensive by doing anything else regarding this movie. But yeah, one of the best mid-credits I've seen in a long time.
But I do think that like if there is a continuation of this story, wouldn't it be natural just to pick up from that 1992 scene and just go with Stack and Mary as they continue through time, like they're, I don't know, maybe they're, I mean, they're still vampires, but maybe there's, I don't know, maybe they become kind of like the good guys against some other evil that's out there. So I don't know. Or they just continue on as vampires and you see how they navigate through the 90s and the 2000s and up to current day.
You could. I mean, that'd be a good idea. Brittany brought the good idea too of like them in Chicago doing the prohibition. The
like
Irish and the Italians.
Yeah,
you can do a childhood story of like, because like we still don't know full-fledged the origin of that guitar. We know that the twins' father owned that guitar, and he was evil. So something about that guitar brings fire and brimstone wherever it goes. I mean, and it brought Preacher Boy, life full of success, but scars, figuratively and literally, from that night. So I would like to see an origin story about that, the twins' childhood, that guitar, or look, man, Remy's about 1,000 years old. It would be kind of cool to see a Remy story of how he became a vampire and what brought him to this to the current that 1931 timeline, because the Native Americans were chasing him like that. Right. For a tribe to be chasing you, there are stories and legends about you about how bad you are and that you attracted Native American tribes during a time where white people are killing Native Americans. They are out there trying to save people from this deity. So it'll be kind of cool to see a remake sequel as well. I mean prequel as well. One thing I noticed too, I watched the movie Sunday when Mary comes out to Remick and the two guys, the couple that Remick turned, and they're singing, right, and they're talking. Mm-hmm. Y'all know there's a wedding band on Remick's hand.
Okay, I don't think I didn't. Okay,
yeah, I noticed that the sixth time I watched it, I'm like, wait, that motherfucker was married. Like I didn't like he had a spouse, and it makes me wonder too. Like we know Preacher Boy's ability to transcend time and call it the answers of the past and the future and the present. I wonder if Remick had a loved one that he lost, that loved one was his wife, that he's trying to bring back, because he does says he says something to the effect of right before he tries to bite Preacher Boy that he wants to see his, I think I don't know if he said ancestors or see his people again, but it seemed like he was talking about like, I guess, other vampires, but it could be his wife. He was his departed wife. Who knows?
Yeah.
That is an interesting theory, Frank. And I want to, before I jump back to one of my other favorite scenes, and it's one that Yesenia brought up in the chat, I wanted to pose a question to all of you and to those in the chat or those watching the replay. Let us know in the comments down below. There is a theory floating around that the end credit, which is of Preacher Boy in the church, presumably before all these events of the movies have transpired, where he's playing the guitar, he's singing, and then he looks up. You think he looks up at the cross that's on the wall, right? Because this is a church. It's the church his father preaches at. There's theories out there that he is making a deal with the devil. Now, how you jump to that conclusion, I couldn't tell you. However, because he has that guitar, and Frank talked about how the guitar had belonged to the twins' father, he was an evil man, could it be because given the time period that all of this is happening and how difficult it was for a Black man to have a job and earn money and what have you, how the hell did he acquire that guitar in general? Because that guitar is going to be hella expensive, right? So is it the reason for that guitar being able to summon whatever it may summon? Is it because it came from another supernatural or a deity or something that is therefore granting some sort of powers or what? I don't know. I mean, it's a reach, but I'm just curious. Do y'all have any feedback about the end credit of Preacher Boy in the church, or anything about the guitar and how that guitar could be something supernatural itself?
I don't really know so much about the guitar, but I would say that, like, obviously the blues was a forerunner for rock and roll is known as the devil's music, right? So that's what I took from it. That's why I thought that there was some kind of supernatural. I didn't really key on the guitar, but now that y'all have mentioned that, it's like, obviously he's carrying that broken guitar. There's something magical or mythical about the guitar, but I do think it's just the fact that the music is quote unquote the devil's music. Frank or Marcy, do y'all have any thoughts on that scene or that part of the movie?
So roughly that character that Preacher Boy plays is loosely based on an actual jazz performer named Robert Johnson. He was doing the Roaring Twenties, and I mean, again, this is legend. People believe this back in those days, but they think because why Robert was so good at jazz was that he was so good that the walking mythology of it in the term that they used was he was so good at it that he made it do with the devil. That's why he was so good at it. His music just was transcendent. Like it put people in a trance. And amongst Black folk in that time, they said because he made it do with the devil is why his music was so captivating. So Coogler took elements of that for Preacher Boy's character for the supernatural element. Now, as far as the guitar that Bree's talking about, those are all great theories. I mean, I wouldn't poo-poo it. I mean, it does make sense. Like, I mean, the twins, I mean, according to Smoke, their dad was evil as fuck. Like, he would beat them to a pulp, is notably Stack. So I don't know if the guitar possessed him, because they didn't really specify if the twins' father was a great jazz or great guitarist. They just said Smoke just debunked, what Stack said about it coming from a famous jazz player that no, it belongs to my father. But we don't know if he was if he played it, if he was great at it, or we don't know. But I mean, all accounts, he was an evil man according to the twins. So, according to Smoke, so makes me wonder if the guitar did possess some type of like magical properties to where it maybe like adhere to your desires. It might be one of those things where like it gives you rags or riches, but you have to sell your soul in the process to like achieve these riches. Kind of like the whole Mephisto thing in Ironheart. Like we'll give you what you want, but when your sun sets, your soul is mine, and it makes me wonder, because like when I saw that in the theater of him looking up, it looked like he was making a deal or acknowledging, yes, I want this. Because like, why was Preacher Boy's father so dead set on him not wanting to leave and like be a part of that? Like it's like, because like the church element too kind of like strengthens that theory. Like the Preacher Boy's father know that, because the twins' brother was Preacher Boy's father. The twins' father was Preacher Boy's father's brother. Yeah. So he probably knew, like, look, son, I don't want you to go to this life because look what happened to my brother, your cousin's uncle. He got rotten from this. He turned evil from this. I wish, and I never critique Ryan Coogler's movies. I never will. He does a great job. I wish the father would set a line to like solidify and kind of give honor and kind of confirm, like, yeah, man, my brother won shit. Like, this is what he went to his life, and like he tried to be a musician, and he was worse for it. And it kind of would have been cool for him to verbalize that to his son, to say, look, I saw what this did with my brother. I don't want this to happen to you as well.
Marcy, do you have any thoughts on all this stuff with the guitar, with the music, with the ending of the film?
No, but that just made me sad when he said, I saw what it did to my brother. I don't want it to happen to you. I just liked all the parallels. Like, I think, Brittany, you said like Remick had the wedding ring. He was probably longing for, who else are you going to miss the most? Like, oh, that was Frank. Sorry, Frank. Love you. Who else are you going to miss the most, right? Like probably your spouse or your significant other. And that's who you would want to see first. But also how the twins also ended up with their ladies and like their stories ended, right? Like Annie didn't want to be a vampire. And like she made him promise, like, you have to like kill me. Like, I don't want to be a vampire. And they would be happy knowing that they would die and finally be reunited with their little daughter, right? Like that was their version of like a happy ending. Whereas Mary, she wanted to be with who was she with? Smoke or Stack? She wanted to be with him, right? Like that's what she told him. I didn't want to like marry some white man. I didn't want to go away. I wanted to be with you. So they got, I guess, their version of a happy ending by being able to be immortal together. So I liked those parallels of getting that quote unquote happy ending with their women. And that was what Remick was after. And he didn't get it. R.I.P. Remick. But, that's life.
That was a hell of a way to go out, too, for Remick. My goodness gracious. One other scene.
I think Frank had one more thing to add about that. Go ahead.
Oh, Frank. Go ahead, Frank.
Well, not about that. I just want to say, I after watching the movie for the sixth time, there are two people I really feel bad about or feel bad for that weren't in this movie, but off camera had to be deeply affected from what happened from the events of this of that night. That's Perline's husband and that's Mary's husband. These motherfuckers left. These wives went to this barn. They're probably thinking, you know what, man, I'm gonna just hang out with the kids. Probably watch a little bit of black and white TV. Who knows? Probably go lynch some motherfuckers. And then the next morning they wake up and their wife's not only gone, but they can't find their bodies. And then for Mary's husband, that motherfucker left you for a black man who is now a vampire, who's now still alive 80 years later. That motherfucker lost twice.
And Perlin got 8 too. Like she had some fun and then she died. Like she not only cheated on you, then she died on you. Like I'm sorry.
The fact that she walked 5 miles, sweaty pussy and everything to that bar, got 8, and that was the time of her life. What are you not doing at home, bro? For your wife to walk 5 miles, sweaty coos, and get pleased by a 20-year-old. Like that's crazy. Well, I don't know if he was 20 in the movie, but like,
he's 17 in the movie. He's 17 in the movie. Yeah,
he's 17 in the movie. So she got pleased by a man who had no idea what he was doing. Got a 30-second tutorial by his cousin, bro. Like my man, what are you doing at home for your wife to throw it all away?
Let this be a lesson.
Bruh.
This is a
crazy.
PSA, basically. That's what this is.
Oh, Lord Almighty. Are we going to put a
Brittany.
pin in that? Okay, good. Oh, we're done with that. One other scene, and it was actually a pretty decent scene, and Yesenia here in the chat brought it up. The scene with the garlic clove. All right, so this was a way, as told by Annie, to basically prevent from being bitten by a vampire. As we all have come to know, garlic tends to ward off vampires. So the theory was that if you eat the clove, right, like you're good, you're solid. This heavily reminded me of the scene in The Faculty, which is another like horror movie from, I guess, was it like late 90s, early 2000s?
I can't late 90s, yeah.
Like late 90s. Josh Hartnett, Elijah Woods,
John Stewart. He was a
right.
teacher. Yeah,
forgot about that. He was a teacher. Femke, whatever, X-Men, Jean Grey. Yeah, she's in it. Anyway, the scene where basically all the students that are huddled together, they're trying to like not be infected. They had to prove that they're not already infected by snorting up coke from a ballpoint pen, as you do, right? So this scene here with the garlic clove is what reminded me heavily of The Faculty. Come to find out later that it's kind of like a nod to that movie. The very fact that the Pearl, old sweaty coochie girl,
Pearline.
I thought we were done talking about it, but we're not. Her being so adamant about not wanting to eat the garlic clove because she's just like, I don't like the taste of it. I was like, girl, who would? Raw. Okay, who would? At that point, I'm like, she's it. She's that bitch. This is the part from The Faculty. And then I was wrong. I was horribly wrong. Also, I thought when Slim was about to be keel over because he ate that garlic clove, he'd been drinking beer all night too, and he's just like, not a good combination. Bruh, I believe you. But yeah, I thought that scene was very well done. But yeah, I thought I figured out.
Who would have thought twice to chew on that garlic was Sammy. He is not afraid of anything. Not afraid of anything. He's like, give me that garlic. That is easy compared to all the other things I've eaten tonight. So
sweaty things that he has eaten that night. My goodness. Anyway, moving on.
Marcy, do you have any other scenes or anything else you want to mention about the movie that we haven't talked about?
No, I'm glad I rewatched it. So yes.
Frank, anything we haven't touched on that you want to talk about?
No, I think we're good. I'm good.
Brittany,
anything else you want to talk about?
I think we've kind of hit all the high points of just characters, the story. Like I said, it wasn't the story I was building in my head. And I'm glad it wasn't, because it just almost would have been a tad bit too predictable. I did actually like how was it Smoke at the very end held the ground, held the property down after a very long night of trying to, kill all these vampires, only to be infiltrated once again by the KKK. And he gave them smoke, man. I mean, they weren't ready. They were not fucking ready. My freaking goodness. Yeah. I need that prequel. Ryan Coogler, if you ever watch this little podcast of ours, first of all, sponsor us. Yeah. Second of all, give us a prequel of the twins and what they were doing pre Sinners.
I do want to mention one thing. It was not character flaw, but like it was one thing that defined the difference between Smoke and Stack. So in the beginning of the movie, where when you first see the twins, Smoke can't wrap his own cigarette. Like he can't like he has fidgety hands, and you find out later in the movie that they've been around, like even before Capone and Prohibition, they fought in World War One as well. And so the things that a man sees in war, he probably had undiagnosed PTSD. Like he probably had a lot of like things going on. But like the movie shows Smoke always taking care of Stack, but in that manner, you can tell that Stack was the one that also took care of Smoke in his own way. Like he was always there, like to wrap his, to wrap his cigarettes, put tobacco in there, and finish it off. And when you see in the end of the movie when he's lost everything, and like after he takes out the Ku Klux Klan and he's shot, he's trying to fidget with his cigarettes. And he can't do it. He can't finish it. And that part made me. I got so emotional because I remember getting the movie when he handed it to his brother, and they were two peas in a pod. They finished. They were like a puzzle. They fit together, and like I think that was the finality of like realizing, okay, now I can let go and go be with my love and my child, because the one person I lived for all these years is now gone, or at least that form of himself is gone, and that part was so sad. So seeing that PTSD was very, very profound. The before and after that night with Smoke.
Yeah, very well said. I was going to mention something. Does anybody remember the first teaser trailer for this movie? It was really
Yes.
It was really short.
Yes.
The part that I always remembered, because whatever movies I was seeing last year, probably Deadpool and Wolverine, because I saw it a bunch of times, they would show us this quick little teaser, and all they really showed was the scene with Michael B. Jordan and the guns, just like firing the guns after that night had ended. And that was back. I didn't know what the movie was about because there wasn't any like hints to like vampires or supernatural stuff. And so like when it got to the part at the end that Brittany referenced where he killed the Klan, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that part of the movie, because that was like, but originally that was the only part of the movie that I saw. That's really all they showed in that little teaser, because it's like a quick, like, I don't know if it's 30 seconds or 15 seconds. It was like probably one of the first things they kind of shot that they were like, hey, let's put this out there to like get some buzz about this new Michael B. Jordan movie. But that was such a strong way to end that film. Like it was such a, it's because that was such a powerful moment. It's kind of reminiscent of like, now that if you're going to the movies right now, you're seeing this like really quick teaser for the Odyssey, for the new Christopher Nolan movie. It comes out in July, and it's just like one little like couple scenes like kind of put together, and that's kind of like what this teaser trailer was from last year. So, like I said, I kind of forgot about it, and the fact that it was like one of the closing moments, that was very cool.
Even from that teaser trailer, did not gather at all that this would be a vampire horror movie.
Yeah.
I thought this was like, all right, he's got to fight off some bad people, which, wasn't wrong. But I thought it was just more, struggles being a black man in the South in Prohibition era, that kind of situation. That's what I thought this direction was going to take us down, right? Not at all what I thought. So for that matter, that's why I think this movie is brilliant. Like I said, for me, it did have some slow parts, but overall, great movie. If y'all haven't had a chance to watch it, it is available on HBO Max. I don't know what this platform's called anymore. It's
HBO
streaming.
Max.
HBO Max. 1 minute's HBO, HBO Go, HBO Now, Max.
The final thing I'll say about the film is, lately we've been going to these movies like with Fantastic Four, Superman, and they're all like barely 2 hours, just over 2 hours. And this movie is 2 hours and 18 minutes. But I have to say, like, this movie moves it's pretty smooth. Like, it doesn't feel like a long movie. Not that, 218 is not long compared to a lot of the stuff we've talked about and reviewed over the years. But this is like a pretty well-paced film, honestly. I thought that's one of the more impressive things about the film is the pacing of it. It doesn't feel, you don't feel like, like you're like, oh, come on, hurry up. Like it's interesting, and it's just, the pacing is very nice. Like I said, it's kind of a smooth kind of experience. So let's go final thoughts now on Sinners. Brittany, final thoughts on this movie. You are muted. Okay.
One day I'm going to freaking get this right. One day.
You've done it. For years. It's just recently you haven't. It's okay. You're
Been a
back
day.
in it. Final thoughts. Yeah.
It's been a day. Final thoughts.
Yeah.
Yes, I really did enjoy this movie. This is something that I encourage those to watch because it is available on HBO Max. Blanked out for a second. And even if you don't like vampire movies, give this a shot because it is an original. I really enjoy it. Come back and watch this pod again. Leave a comment down below on your thoughts of Sinners.
Exactly. Marcy, final thoughts on Sinners.
2 thumbs up.
There you go. Short and sweet. Going with the Siskel and Ebert review. Frank, final thoughts on the movie.
The shit. It's something I'm always gonna like go back and watch yearly just to like see some acting, just acting at a summa cum laude level.
Yep. High praise. Really good movie. We all recommend it. So definitely check out Sinners if you haven't. And so now you know what we thought about the movie. We want to know what you thought about it. And Brittany, how can people let us know?
Well, as always, be like Yesenia, King B. Johnson, and our hopefully new follower, Hunter, who had a lot of high praise for this movie. Join us in the next live chat to tell us what your thoughts are on the next thing that we're going to be talking about, which hopefully will be Wednesday, the Netflix series that just dropped yesterday. I believe it's just part 1. It's season 2 of Wednesday. I really enjoyed it. Tristan enjoyed it. I hope he'll be back to co-host that with me to cover it. But we do have other content coming your way. But be sure to, like I said, join us in the live chat. Don't forget to subscribe. We're on the road to 500 subscribers. Help make that possible. Hit that like button and hit that notification bell. That way you know the next time we do go live. You can check out all of our social media in the description box down below. Give us a follow. And lastly, consider following our audio podcasts on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Give us a follow and give us a 5-star rating.
You can also watch us on Spotify too. So do that as well because we have video there as well. Thank you, Brittany. Appreciate it. So for Brittany and for Marcy and for Frank, I'm Justin saying thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We will see you next time. Have a good night. Bye-bye.